Hey everyone, devotion for Monday, April the 27th, 2020. Isaiah 45:5. I am the Lord, and there is no other. There is no God besides me. In 1996, the band Dishwalla, and I'll forgive you if you've never heard of them, had a hit called Counting Blue Cars. Their music is great, I think, and it's kind of a hard southern rock meets garage band type sound. The refrain of the song starts with, "Tell me all your thoughts on God." Now, this isn't a Christian song by any stretch, but it raises the question about where do our thoughts on God come from? How do we get them? So over the last few weeks, we've been talking about our thought life and getting control of our thought life, as well as learning to think like Jesus. And as a Christian, we know that our thought life is important because, as the Bible says, as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So how do we order our thoughts? How do we begin learning to think like Jesus? And I think one of the topics that we have to seriously consider are how we look at God, or we need to look at all our thoughts on God. What do you believe about God? Why do you believe that? What is the origin of that thought? For some people, society forms their thoughts on God. They get all of their perceptions or their inclinations on God from society. Whatever the TV says, whatever the radio says, whatever book they read, that's where their thought process comes from. For some people, their thoughts on God are transplanted. They are given to them. They receive them from others. Maybe a parent, maybe a teacher, or someone else. They really didn't investigate it. They just took what someone else said and ran with it. Yeah, that sounds good. That's what I'm going to do. For the Christian, however, our belief of who God is, his character, his qualities, the attributes, they must come from the Bible. And we must begin to evaluate what we believe about God from a scriptural point of view. And the Bible has to be the baseline of our view, because without the Bible as a base, God becomes an amalgamation of our imagination, a hodgepodge of our desires and beliefs. Or we could say that God becomes a creature of our own creation. And that's a pretty scary world to live in. And that's why it's so important that we know the God of the Bible. Because, as he says, there is no God besides him. God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow.